Good morning, everyone. Let me just find my comments. There we go. We're in action. Good morning, everyone. Hope you love my t-shirt. Welcome to Sugar and Crumbs. We are here, my name is Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes, and today I'm going to attempt an 80s cake. I say attempt, I've done 80s cakes before, so that's all fine, but it is for somebody, so I've got to do it properly, which is what I always say every time I do anything like this. So I've gone full out on the theme today. I'm even wearing my lovely George Michael t-shirt, which is my pride and joy. I have got my 80s beads on, although they may have to come off because I've got a feeling when I start leaning over the cake that I could end up with those in the way. But true to form, I have put on my 80s t-shirt as guaranteed on Tuesday evening, so I feel like I'm embracing this theme. So I'm going to be doing a two-tier cake today, and we're going to use the neon colours, and we're going to stack it. So we're going to be doing some doweling, I'm trying to think of the word then, and then I've got some images to go on this cake, and then all these lovely bits and pieces as well. So quite a lot to do, so I could be here a while, and I know I've got to be off by 2. I'm pretty certain I'll be off by 2, but if you're in for the duration, then please go and get yourself lunch because we might be here a while, and I need to get on as soon as possible because there is so much to do. So yes, today it's an 80s cake. It is for my sister-in-law. Hopefully she's not tuning in because otherwise it's all out the way, she's going to know. So I'm going to do an 80s cake because she's 50 on Monday, but she's going to have the cake tomorrow because she's going away. So happy birthday to my lovely sister-in-law. Thank you, Maureen. Don't forget to like and share, something I always forget, but yes, don't forget to like and share. Do you like my t-shirt? He's lovely, isn't he? I do wear him out when I go to my rewind festivals. If anyone hasn't been to a rewind festival, they're very good. And I've been going for years, but obviously not the last 2 because we've had some interruptions, haven't we? Somewhat. So there we go. So I'm going to use, I have actually had my hair cut as well, but it looks a complete mess because I've been running backwards and forwards between the house for the last 15 minutes going, I forgot this. So yeah, I'm looking like a bit bedraggled, but yeah, my hair is considerably shorter now, much better. So we're going to use some of the neon colours, which are, I've mixed some up already, some I'm going to do live, so I'll always end up covered in it, but that's fine, we're not worried about that. And we'll get started. So I've geared it up a little bit around, obviously around Jenny as well as my sister-in-law, so that there's lots of themes in there for her as well, so you'll have to bear with some of it, but hopefully it will scream 80s at the end and be very neon and bright. So let's get started. So we've got 2 tiers to cover, which I need to, funny enough, I've just weirdly stacked everything on my round turntable, which is very unhelpful. Let me just move all that out of the way. See, when I lean forward now, just please note there's no grey hairs anymore. Normally when I lean forward, I'm sure there's grey hair everywhere. Right, okay, so now I've already prepped my cakes in advance because I wouldn't have enough time to do that as well. So I have got here the first one. Now, what did I do in the end? I can't even remember. Let's have a look. Let's get the tape measure out. Let's get the trusty tape measure. Here we go. So let's go on to the other camera for a second. We have got an 8-inch by 4-inch cake. So that's the top, and then, sorry, that's the bottom, and then the top is a little 5-inch by similar height, I think, something like that. So it's already been ganache, so it's dry. It's not perfect, but that's fine. We're not too worried about that. And then what we're going to do is our usual. We're going to take some water and we're going to paint the cake with some water so that it's got something for it to stick to. So that's the very first thing we've got to get done. So we're going to do this twice. 2 different colours. So I did have a little play with the neon colours a couple of days ago. Well, actually I've had them a while, to be honest, and they're very bright. The green is fantastic. The green is an amazing colour, so that's definitely going to be on there. The pink seems to vary a little bit. The blue is lovely. When I say the pink varies a bit, when it's dark pink it really is quite dark. If you lighten it up a little bit, then it looks a little bit better. There we go. So I've got some of the colours out for us to have a look at, and we'll see how we go. We're going to mix some up. I'm also going to attempt to do a Rubik's Cube, which is probably like cake decorating nightmare. Why would I do this to myself? But anyway, I've got a little Rubik's Cube I've made up, so we're going to try and cover that as well. I haven't actually tested it yet to see if it's going to work, so it may or may not go on the cake depending on how it goes, depending on what mood I get into, but I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. So we're going to be here a while, as I say. So this is cake number 1. If I made it all the way around yet, a few pools of water appearing at the bottom. Let's get rid of those. There we go. If I had a choice, I would have my lovely 80s radio station on in the background, but I'm not allowed because Facebook will chuck me off, you see, if I do that. So, and then I could sing to you, but that might immediately lower my ratings. But I am a massive fan of the 80s, as is my sister-in-law, and hence why she's getting this cake. So yes, I'm full on. I'll tell you all my 80s stories this morning. There's going to be a lot of them. Just brace yourself. 80s mania this morning. Yeah, huge fan. For those of you just tuned in, George is here with me. Right, okay, so I have dyed up some green and I also dyed up some pink. I want to show you these colours. There we are, so that's what they look like. We're going to do pink on the bottom and green on the top, but I'm not 100% sure I've done enough pink. So what I'll do is I'll mix a little bit more up and then we can go from there. Right, let me just rescue my sugar paste, which is underneath my everything else. Now, I've got a combination of sugar paste going on here actually today. I think I've got Satinara and I've got couture in there. I've mixed them up. Is my preference water rather than Trex? Is that what you would do? Put Trex on a... Am I wearing a rah-rah skirt? No, not today. I don't own a rah-rah skirt, but I would like one. I have had one in the past when I was about 15, but I think potentially now if I went out in a rah-rah skirt, my children would disown me. So, although I do have lots of 80s costumes, like a lot of 80s costumes. I've got loads of t-shirts. Love it. I'll grow up one day. Right, what was that question? Something about Trex. Is your preference water rather than Trex? I always use water. Can people do it with Trex? I haven't done it with Trex. I always do it with water. So, I don't know. I never think about these things. The thing is, I've been doing this such a long time. It's only when I come on here and people go, do you try this? And I think, what? I never even think of trying it like that. So let's have a look at the pink under the camera. There we go. Let's get my scissors out of the way. Now, that's what I've done, but I think potentially I'm going to need a little bit more, and obviously it's been, let's put some, just found my Satinara, so we'll use that as well. Let's put that over there for a minute. So this is Satinara, which I've dyed up with this one, which is Neon's Pink. That's the colour I ended up with. I'm just warming up my sugar paste because this time of year, sugar paste is just awful to use. That you need it to be a little bit softer. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, I think. I'm just looking at what I've done. Yeah, a tiny bit more to make it enough to do the bottom. So I'll put that bit in there as well. Didn't quite do enough yesterday, but that's okay. I'll just give that a knead through. So I might shake the cameras a little bit for a minute. So I'll give that... Send that through. So yeah, the neon colours seem to be very nice. So I thought, yeah, this is my opportunity to get them onto a cake. I'm happy with that. They're quite stringy. Do you know what? I've not ever known anything like this before with these. I don't know whether the gels are like this, but you see what I mean? They're quite stringy. I don't know if it's just the pink, but I'm finding them quite stringy. Fabulous colours. I can live with that. They're a little bit stringy. No, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. So let's put a little bit of extra colour in just to make sure that white doesn't tone it down too much. Have I tried the orange? I have. The orange, I'm going to mix the orange. I'm going to mix all of them if I can. And there's 8 in total. So yeah, I'm planning on throwing everything neon at this cake. So yes, if you stay tuned, go and get your lunch. Then yes, I am going to, I did mix up, what did I mix up yesterday? Blue, I did blue, green and pink yesterday. I wanted to try and do the bulk of she says, the bulk of these colours before I went live, because this is quite hard work. Now, if you want to do a colour check and see where you are, you take hold of one of these plastic side scrapers, and then if you turn it, if you see any like swirls of colour or anything, there's a little bit of something going on there, then you need to carry on kneading it. So this is Satinara, that's what I've got in today. I've also got couture as well, because I don't think I've got enough. I think I've run out. That's all right, doesn't matter. Then in any little bits I get left over from covering my cake, then I can use those for like decorations and stuff. So I'm not too worried. Yeah, the gels are a bit gloopy, aren't they? Right, okay. So there we go. That's our starting point. Let's turn that over there like that. And now just put some icing sugar down. Haven't got my pink board out today. I forgot. It's been washed. Right, let me get the rolling pin going. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to the size that we need it to be. So we'll keep turning it, keep it moving. Now, there's no guarantees I'm going to get this done in one, you know, because if I do it, if I do it without the camera on and it goes wrong, I just go, oh well, I've got to do it again. So yeah, hopefully it'll be fine. You never know. I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, so we're going to roll out this pink to start with. There's a bit of pink in there. I haven't got Kelly with me today, so I am having to look up every so often and have a look at these comments. So bear with me if I miss a comment. I'm not. It's because I've got about. Well, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the camera. I'm doing it all today. Because Kelly's in a Russian lesson, which is very inconvenient of her. So she's not available at the moment. So it's just me on my own doing a massive 2-tier cake live. What if? Why do I do these things to myself? I should have covered one really, but never mind. I thought it would be fun just to see how it builds from the start. I keep doing all these customer cakes live. It's quite handy actually, to be honest. And this is a freebie, so I'm just going to mention this, because I'll tell you why in a minute. Because, so this is a present, all right? Because I have printed off some images from the 80s. So I'm not selling this cake, because sometimes you get all sorts of funny issues with copyright and stuff. So all I've done is print off a few images for this cake. But it's a freebie. Well, it's my present, along with all the other bits and pieces I bought. The cake just comes mandatory, doesn't it, you know? When you're a cake maker, you just automatically expect to make a cake. I do anyway. Right, now I've got one little air bubble in there, so let's get rid of that. There we go. Let's get out the glorious smedgers. Now I'm reading your comments. I've just read your comment. Donna, I'm glad about that. Right, okay, here we go. So we're going to go round and round and round, and we're going to flatten this off. This is very, very important. This is the most important part of putting this onto your cake, because this is the one opportunity you've got to really smooth it all out before you press it onto the cake. Because when you press it onto the cake, you can't press very hard, and then it becomes much more difficult. And then you make sure that you throw all your equipment around like I do. This pink is neon, okay, so we're using all the neon colours today. Right, I'm just making myself a tiny bit of space here, so I wouldn't want to go too wild. And here we go. Let's change camera. Right, let's put this onto the cake. So we're going to pick that up. Hopefully she's made it big enough, which I have. So that goes over like so, and I can have a seat for a minute. There we go. All right, how far down have we got? That's okay. If you're a bit short on one side, a little bit short on that side, you can pick it up and move it. But to be perfectly honest, sugar paste stretches, so I usually just pull the sugar paste towards the side that's a little bit on the shorter side, and then we'll go round and round and make sure there's no air trapped on top. You can run your hand over the top and have a little feel, see what's going on, and then we're going to start the process of taking the sugar paste down the side. So we're going to go round like this. Okay, just take it over the edge to start with. I don't think I've done the world's best ganaching job underneath, but that's fine, doesn't matter. This is what I always say. This is, look, I'm going to stick loads of stuff on here. No one's going to be looking too closely at how perfect it is. We're just going to get the covering on and then go from there. So look at that, it's nice and bright, isn't it? I'm laughing at your comments now. So I mean, the inevitable question always with the 80s is, you know, who is your favourite band in the 80s? And I have to say, these are where my fun facts start coming out here, you see. I mean, I'm a complete Duran Duran fan. There is no question about it. And George Michael, obviously, he's just wonderful. But I have a little secret here. We actually have Tony Hadley living around our area. So we have to pretend we're Spandau Ballet fans as well every so often because he's around. And there's a very nice picture of, so when I was 14, I met Andrew Ridgeley, highlight of my life, because he was looking just lovely at that stage. And I've got a nice picture of me with him at 14, so I'll have to dig that out so you can all have a good laugh at that at some point. So there we go. Right, let's go round and tidy this up a little bit. There we go. Now, I'm actually going to do the board differently today, so I'm not going to then go down and straight out onto my board, which I've done many times live, but I'm just going to use my smedger just to do the edges anyway. There we go, round we go. Oh, here we go, here come the bands. Stranglers, Spandau Ballet, yeah, and Billy Idol, lovely. David Bowie. Isn't it sad? George Michael, I mean, yeah, honestly, I just love George Michael, and I've been to a few tribute bands since, but I have seen him several times. He's just wonderful. Not anymore though, unfortunately, which is very sad. Right, let's get a knife out. Right, here we go. So my claim to fame, you'll love this, is just make you laugh. You know, I do a lot of swimming. So I've been in the same swimming pool as Tony Hadley. Shh, don't he was in there with his kids, so yeah, okay. He's in the local swimming pool. I thought, who is that man? He's very loud. And then I realised, I thought, wow, that's my claim to, another one of my claim to fames, the 80s, honestly. I could list them all, you'd laugh. There we go, let's get rid of this. Okay, there we go. Let's take that away. I'm going to use that for something else later, so no problem there. And we'll go round with the smedger. Oh, Holly Johnson. Who said that, Donna? Oh, isn't he amazing? He is amazing. He's so amazing. I absolutely love him. Okay, so we're going around the bottom here. And there's smedger. Right, let's see if we can get this a little bit neater at the bottom, because my plan of action is to try to get this as straight as we can. You can use the smedgers at the bottom just to nip it like that. Okay, if you do that, and then you can go like so, that tidies it up quite nicely. It just kind of pulls it down a little bit for you if you're having any difficulties. Let's go around again. Oh, you've met Wham. Well, Andrew Ridgeley. I've met Andrew Ridgeley, obviously. Very exciting. Right, let's see what we've got going on here. So it's a 2-tier cake, so we don't need to worry too much about flapping around the top here. We can literally go, we're working on the sides. When it's a 2-tier cake, this bit's sort of a bit irrelevant really. As long as there's no air in it, that's fine. We're just going to more concern ourselves with the sides and making it look lovely that way. I'm just going to go around with my hand here. Not worried about sharp edges. I don't really need sharp edges for this. Just need it to be covered beautifully. And then my sister-in-law had a bit of a thing about John Taylor. So we will be doing, John Taylor will be appearing on this cake. Because that's who she liked, which was good really, because I liked Simon Le Bon, so we couldn't really have had a clash there. So that's okay. That's fine, that's allowed. There you go, I'm just rubbing this now. If anyone's thinking what she's done, I've just put a little bit of icing sugar on my hands, just because I want to make sure that I get these edges, because my ganache is quite sharp, and I don't want sharp edges today, I want softer edges today. There we go. And then that will all come off later on. By the time we've done various things with it, it will disappear. There we go. So for those of you that didn't experience the 80s, you missed out. Oh, it was a great era, I have to say. So that's that done. I think we're happy with that, near enough. Let me just make sure I've got that bottom bit right, because it will stand out a mile when I put it on my board otherwise. Right, okay, done. It's all David Bowie. Oh, lovely. Yeah, Culture Club, that's another good one. To be honest, I've seen them all because I've spent 10 years going to the Rewind Festival, so I've seen practically everybody. David Bowie didn't do that though, but Boy George, I've seen him. He's very good. He's very good. Right. Okay, now we're going to just cover that. I'm going to show you something else as well, actually, with this neon pink. So I'm going to show you this. So that's the neon pink colour. That is also the neon pink. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. That's helped, Tracy, isn't it? Right, that's the neon pink. That's also the neon pink. And I just added in tons and tons of more neon pink. And I ended up with this colour. And that was actually the first colour I ended up with. And I thought, I don't like this colour. What do I do? And then I realised I tried to add some white to it and thought, actually, that is a lot better. So just watch out with the shading on these, because this is obviously one colour and that out of the same pot, so just bear that in mind when you do it. Okay, right, that's cake number 1 out of the way. Let's move that out of the way. Just put this smedger underneath, pick it up, and we'll go and get the other one. Let's move that over there. Right, let's do the little one now. I've got that one in. Now this one we're going to do green. So I've got some lovely lime green colour here. Look at this. That's pretty fabulous, isn't it? And again, it's one of these neons. It's this one here. So that's the colour I've used for that. And I mixed it up yesterday. I don't know if these colours actually develop. I haven't actually saw or worked out yet whether or not they get sort of darker or anything. You know, lots of food colouring changes overnight. Sometimes, you know, you've made up this fabulous colour and you come down in the morning and it's a shade darker. Looking at these neons, I'm not actually that sure because it's quite a strong colour anyway. So I'm just going to take that little bit of ganache off because it's just a tiny bit sharp. It's going to rip my sugar paste otherwise. Oh yeah, get your handbags out. Handbags at dawn with the 80s. Right, let's go around this again. A little bit of pink on my board. I'll have to get rid of that in a minute before I do this, otherwise that'll go into my green. So there we go. Right, so round we go. Oh, we've got some votes in for the 70s now, have we? I was born in the 70s, so I've got sort of recollections of 70s music for sure, because my parents were playing lots of country and western, actually, lots of John Denver and Don Williams and all that sort of kind of stuff. So not so much T-Rex and that. I don't think my mum and dad would have been into T-Rex, but yeah. But 80s music, you can't beat it. There is so much lovely 80s music out there. It's fantastic. And I'm so happy now that, you know, even when I'm older, I can still go and see all these bands. It's just amazing. I just love it. Absolutely love it. Colours are good, aren't they, so far? Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a little bit of kitchen roll. That's what I've got on here. Just dip that in there. I've got a little bit of pink on this turntable and I don't want that picking up on the green. Let's just get rid of that. There we go, that's better. And then we'll just dry that off because I don't want water on that as well. There we go, otherwise that will stick. Oh, somebody likes T-Rex. There we go, so I'm just looking at my cake now from the side. Another one. Right. So I'm just getting carried away now. I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. I'll tell you why, because there's a slight hint of pink on there and I don't want that all over my green cake. See, that was the one thing yesterday I was doing when I was mixing these colours up, that I found that I had to keep washing my hands on, because I was finding that, you know, if I had the pink on there, it was then picking up on the green and all these other bits and pieces. So yeah, I did have to keep washing my hands, but that's fine. That's okay. I'd rather try and keep the colours as pure as I can rather than sort of mixing them all up. So I'm reading more comments about your music. You see, you mentioned music and it sets people off, you see. I mean, it's not as nice as my George, obviously. Still got these on at the minute. I'm managing to cope with them. I did say I'd wear my 80s gear, so there we go. Right, let's go back onto here. Right, look at that. That's bright, isn't it? Lovely though, lovely colour. Again, I made this yesterday, so it's going to need a bit of a knead to get it going. If not, I always put it in the microwave. If you have got, you know, weak wrists or you find this difficult, just put it in the microwave. You don't have to put it in for long. Literally just give it like a 10-20 second blast. It makes all the difference. Just makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Okay, let's roll it over, tuck it under. Let's move that out of the way again. Right, we're on this camera now. Let's put a bit of icing sugar down. David Essex, oh, I remember that. My cousins were into the Bay City Rollers, big time. I remember their posters on the walls. What have I got in there? Hold on. That's better. Okay. So let's get this rolled out next. So obviously you can see I've got quite a sort of what I would call normalish colour tablecloth, and you can see how bright this is. It's so bright, but it's lovely, isn't it? Everybody's laughing at my t-shirt. I don't blame you. It's fab, isn't it? Come on, George. I'm channeling my inner George Michael this morning with my 80s cake. Okay, how are we doing? Just have a look at the other one just to make sure it's settling down. I'll keep an eye on my other one, you see, while it's standing to one side, because I'm looking for things like air bubbles appearing and things like that. It looks okay at the moment. We're going to see this cake coming, isn't it? Oh, I don't know if it glows in the dark. Doesn't look like it'd be far off it, does it? Okay. It's a lovely colour. Howard Jones. Oh, fun fact about Howard Jones. Howard Jones lived down the road from me when he was younger. So he lived in High Wycombe. So yeah, and Howard Jones is another one from around here. So I've got all these fun facts for you about 80s today. 80s special. I just wish I could have my music on, as I say, but I'm not going to get myself chucked off Facebook with that. Now, let's go around with the smedger again. Here we go. And get it all lovely, which I'm happy with. I think I've done it big enough. I'm going to find out in a minute, aren't I? Let's go on the other camera. Let's have a little look. Is it a bit short? Oh, I should get away with it. Right. Okay. Let's bring that over towards where it's shorter again. And we'll just run that round, get the air out, and then we'll start the process of going round again. Just settling the sugar paste down. It should be fine. If not, we'll make it work somehow. Sugar paste, you think, oh, it's not quite there. And then when you start laying it down, see, look, it was short there. Now it's nearly at the bottom already. So there you go. Oh, Teresa, do you like my t-shirt? You see my George Michael t-shirt? I'll come back on screen in a minute and you'll be able to see it. He's just lovely. Loads of comments about the 80s today, and music. And music is fantastic. I love music. I think it's fantastic. And I say to you, I should, I shouldn't sing. I probably shouldn't. But yes, I love it. It's just the best thing ever, isn't it? Nearly there. There we go. Kim Wilde. Yeah, she's really good actually, Kim Wilde. Oh, Jo's had her hair done, so she's looking fabulous. Bryan Adams, yeah, he's another one. I got married in 1993, and my wedding song is that Bryan Adams song, you know, the one that was at #1 forever. It's all over my wedding video. '80s, yeah. Off to see Adamant. I've seen Adamant. He's brilliant. He looks like, I'll tell you what he does look like though, which always makes me laugh, is, you know, the Pirates of the Caribbean guy, you know, Johnny Depp. He always reminds me of Captain Sparrow when he's on stage. He's just got that look. It's really funny. He's very good. Bananarama, also a classic. Love them. I got my t-shirt on eBay or somewhere years ago. I'm sure you'd be able to get one, but you know, I spent ages looking, absolutely ages. I had to get the right image of George from my lovely t-shirt. Right, there we go. We're down to the bottom. I've got a bit of pink on the bottom of that. That's not very helpful. Right, get my smedger back out again. Let's cut the excess off so it's not getting in our way. Make sure we've got it close to the cake, or close-ish. There we go. I can use this knife on here because this is just a plastic turntable, so I'm not going to damage anything. Just take that round like that. There we go. Remove that. Put that out the way somewhere for the moment. Have a sing-song. Oh, don't tempt me. Honestly, I think you'd all tune out. And then I tell you, and then you'll go, oh, well, you've definitely got to start singing. I have actually got classical singing exams, I know, but I honestly don't know how. It's one of those sort of mysteries of life that I actually managed to ever get them. And I actually have got grade 5 singing, but I don't think it's quite sort of pop genre, nor is it sort of earworthy, because I suffered from really bad nerves, you see, in my singing exams, so I didn't do very well. And it didn't obviously sort of escalate me to the heights of the charts either, so yeah, go and have a look on eBay. You'll find these t-shirts there. It's just fabulous, aren't they? I'm sure that's where I got this one from. Nowhere particularly clever. There we go. Let's cut this down again. Get that right down to the bottom. Take that out. So we've got a bright pink and a bright green cake. Madness and Johnny Rotten. Oh yeah, I remember him. Let's push that down there. I'll tell you what else is good is that the films, the what is it? I'm trying to think. Elton John film and the other one, the Bohemian Rhapsody films. Amazing. Absolutely love them. I could watch those over and over again. George, apparently, I read yesterday that there's a Boy George one coming out, so I'm very happy about that. Now we just need a nice George Michael one, and we've got the full set. Apart from the Duran Duran one, obviously. Oh, what sugar paste am I using today? I am using, what am I using? Satinara. I've got actually Satinara and I've got couture as well, but I've covered the cakes in Satinara. It's covered all right, isn't it? That looks acceptable. I'm happy with that. Done. Right, okay, so we've got our cakes covered, so that's a good step forward. Let's put this in the bag. Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody is a fantastic film. If anybody hasn't seen it, then you've got to go and see it. It's just amazing. I absolutely loved it. And the other one, the Rocket Man. But then I'm quite keen on the actor that played the Rocket Man, you see, so that's probably why I like that one. Right, let's make some space, and we're going to just move that. I'm going to put that onto the table, actually, for a minute. There we go. I'm going to put that there. And what we're going to do now, well, I'm just going to clean this up a bit because that will annoy me otherwise. We're going to put the other cake. Yeah, the neon's come up really well, hasn't it? I mean, it's really bright. I'm not sure if you're getting it as bright as I'm getting it on camera, but it's mega bright. So let's get our... So I've got a board here, and I'm gonna set it back a bit. Or shall I do the Rubik's Cube next, just in case that doesn't work? I'll tell you what, let's do the Rubik's Cube next, and then if that goes wrong, I don't have to set it back. There's a logic to this, everybody. Right, let's push that out of the way. Okay, so I made this up earlier yesterday. It's a little square of cake, and actually it's really difficult to get it really square. I did use some square cutters, and then I ganached it, then I let it set, then I trimmed it, then I measured it. Oh, I did all sorts of things with it. It was just over 2.2 inches, which is 6 centimetres. I haven't actually checked whether it's 6 all the way around, but that's what I did in the hope that I could kind of achieve maybe a Rubik's Cube. That is actually a square of cake. Given a choice, I would have used a little polystyrene, a square piece of polystyrene, but I didn't have any, so I just had to improvise. And we'll give this a go. So I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try. We'll try, everybody. There we go. Let's move that onto there and let's see how we get on with this. So, Rubik's Cube. I actually did do the Rubik's Cube, I have to say, but I did cheat. I had to get the book to tell me how to do it because I failed like you wouldn't believe, and it used to annoy me to death, so I had to get the book to work it out. These people that can do it in 10 seconds flat, no chance. So I thought, right, I need to be able to do this, so I did buy a book, and I've still got that book actually. A bit of fun, wasn't it? But it's such an iconic image. I thought it's going to be really difficult to do an 80s cake without a Rubik's Cube. So that's what I've done. Oh, someone goes to Let's Rock. Yeah, I've been to that. Brilliant. I'll tell you what the other one I had tickets for was Simple Minds. I had tickets for Simple Minds this year, last year at Blenheim Palace, and obviously it's just been cancelled for the second time, but hopefully we'll get there next year because I've got that's on my bucket list. You see, you know, when you have these bucket lists of things. Well, mine's been about music, and it's been about seeing certain artists, and Simple Minds is on my list. I would love to see Simple Minds. What have you got? Shalimar and Jackson 5. Oh, lovely. That sounds good. Jean-Michel Jarre, yeah. Gloria Estefan is another one. She was the very first person I ever saw in concert. Oh my goodness me, she was amazing. I was about 17 at the time. I think as soon as I could drive and get anywhere, I was off. Yeah, it's the 80s Rewind Festival that's coming up in Henley. I haven't signed up for it this year because, again, I've just had Duran Duran cancelled at Hyde Park, and I thought I'm not putting any more money into tickets until I know what's going on. So I'm going to wait. You can book them at the last minute, can't you? I think that's what the way forward at the moment. So this is just black. So we're going to cover the Rubik's Cube with black first. I thought I'd better do this first because if this doesn't work, then I'm going to change my design. So I've done Rubik's Cubes before, but not live. I could have done this in advance, but I thought, no, I could do this. This is fine. Tickets for Michael Bublé. Also went to his Texas, Peter Kay, lovely. You've all been out and about then, isn't it? I can't wait to get back out to the festivals again. I absolutely cannot wait. Now with this Rubik's Cube, I'm not going to paint, I'm not going to put anything on the bottom. I'm just going to concentrate on the sides, okay? Because you're not going to see it, so there doesn't really need to be covered. It's just the same as a normal cake, isn't it? You know, you've got ganache at the bottom or whatever it is you've done. Well, actually, you don't normally put ganache at the bottom, do you? Now what I've got to just work out, I think that's the top. Right, here we go. Is that big enough? Yeah. Right, let's bring that back out of the way, pop that in, and we'll put this over the top. There we go. Right, so this is Renshaw, Renshaw black. Don't try and mix black up, it's a total nightmare. Just buy it pre-dyed. You definitely do not want to do that. So by the time you've added in buckets of black food colouring, I can assure you it will be, one, a total mess, and two, it will probably never come out really, really black. So I just always buy black sugar paste. Now I'm going to be uber careful with this because it's got quite sharp corners on it. I'm just going to be very careful as I pull this down onto this. Like so. Let's just turn that around. There we go. And we'll come down this side as well. So when you're doing square cakes, just watch these corners here because it can tear really easily. So I'm just literally guiding it into place. And actually it doesn't matter if this is not perfect because we're going to cover it in squares, aren't we? So that's okay. But this is quite a tricky little shape to make actually because it's quite small. And I've got it kind of as a bit of a decoration. The other thing, because I did spend a lot of time, now I'm going to have to just cut some of this off because it's sticking to the table. The other thing I did look at, because I did lots of research on 80s cakes to see what people had put on them. And if you don't want to do a Rubik's Cube, some people had just cut them out and put them like flat on cakes. That worked quite well. But I just wanted to do an actual Rubik's Cube because I'm mad. And it's a silly thing to do. Right, there we go. Let's go down. So just keep an eye on these corners. So just be very careful. Like so. That's working okay, and then we can use the smedger to kind of sharpen it all up a bit. So just cut that like that. Going to need that black for something else later on. And on there. Right, then we can mix up our colours. Do you know, before I went live, I had to go and Google a picture of the Rubik's Cube because I needed to know what colours it was, because I thought, unbelievable, I would be on here and then I'd suddenly go, what is the colours of the Rubik's Cube? Oh no, and I'd have to get someone to look it up for me, but I have written it down, so I hope I'm going to be able to do this in a second. So we're going to do them mixed, and we're only going to do them on one side. Let's just take that bit up there and see how this works. Just trying to get it right to the bottom. Where's Miss Smedges? Let's get those out. Okay, so hold one, and then we'll turn it like that. Okay, I'll use the smedges to push it all into place. If you use your hand on the other side, you're going to end up with a nice big fingerprint in it. So if you've got two things like this, two smedges, they will stop you getting into a muddle. There we go, you see, that's not bad, is it? That looks okay to me. Right, let's take that down the side, push that over there. Push it in a bit further. I'm pushing it in quite far. I'm just manipulating my cake a little bit, basically. There we go. There. Pretty good. Oh, happy days. Right, that's good. Let's get rid of the black. We're going to need that later on. We're going to put you, Mr. Rubik's Cube, over there for a second and take hold of this. There we go. Right, so how many of you have done the Rubik's Cube? That's the next thing, isn't it? How many of you cheated like me? I had to, honestly, I just couldn't do it. Just so frustrating. Right, I'm going to have to wash my hands because I've been using black and I'm covered in it. So let me go and do something about that. I'm getting slightly choked by my necklace, so I'm just going to... Okay, what do I do with that towel? There it is. So Rubik's Cube, let's have a look at the colours. Rubik's Cube. So I had to write notes, you see, because I couldn't remember. White, blue, red, orange, green and yellow. Okay, so we've got green, so we're going to use the neons. Let's have a look at those, because then I want to use some of the colours to write her name on the cake as well. So we can use those again, so that's okay. So red, I've mixed up the blue already, so we've got red, orange and yellow to mix up. So let's do that now so we can have a good old look at the neon. So there's the orange. What else did I say? Blue I've done. Red. There's the red. Red. Do you know, I'm beginning to think now they must have done this round the they must have invented these colours round the Rubik's Cube, I reckon. That's what I think it is. I'm sure that's what they must have done. Right, let me just do my apron up because it's falling down. Let's do that again. So I've got white, I've got blue, I need to make red, orange, yellow. That's the other one. Okay, well at least they're all on the same colour spectrum, so that would be not too bad. Right, let's go down. Here we go. So we can use, we have got the blue already, because I've already done that. White we've already got, so we're going to make up yellow, orange, red. We don't need absolutely tons of it, but I'm not going to rule out I won't use it on something else, so we can always just work around it. So we may as well have a few extras, as you do. Okay, so let's have a look. We'll divide that into 3, like so. gonna have to wash my hands between this. Let's start with the yellow because then there's less damage with that. I'm going to just grab some Trex. If you put a little bit of Trex on your hands, that stops the colour sticking. I know loads of people do use gloves and stuff, but I can't bear gloves, so I'm not going to do that. Now, I found with the yellow one, it's not as gloopy as the pink one. I don't know why that pink one is gloopy. Let's have a look at the red in a minute and see what that does. So this is the yellow one with a hint of green by the looks. There's obviously green approaching my hand somewhere. There we go. So let's get this one going. So look at this. This is very luminous, isn't it? There we go. Wow. Stop the traffic. This is traffic cone colour, isn't it? This is very bright. I wonder if you can see it as bright on camera as I can, because I'm telling you now it's glowing. It is glowing. That's fine. That's what we want. I want it to be bright. Okay, and it's mixed up fairly quickly as well, so we're happy with that. It looks fabulous against the green. I can't even begin to tell you how amazing that looks. Right, let's do red. No, we won't. We'll do orange next, because the red's the darkest colour. So let's do the orange one next, see how we get on with that. Yeah, that one's not gloopy. It must be that pink one then. All right, let's pop that in there. I'm not going to bother washing my hands because yellow and orange, it'll be fine. Let's put a bit of orange in there. Let's see how we go. I don't sell Satinara, but I bet you Carol might. But I think, from what I remember at the moment, it's only available in like 2.5 kilo quantities. It's not available in 1 kilos. We got sent some samples to use. I love it. I think it's really nice sugar paste actually, and I've used it on several lives now. But yeah, I'm sure Sugar and Crumbs, I'm sure Carol will sell that. It's wonderful stuff. Really nice sugar paste. Right, let's knead that through. Okay, so this one isn't coming out as bright as this one. It's a little bit on the less neon side, so let's whack a little bit extra in there because I want it to be very bright. There we go. Put that out the way. Through like that. Let's put some more Trex on my hands because I'm still going to be ending up in. Yeah, Satinara is a really nice paste. If you want to have a go with something, I don't think it's too expensive either. I think it's an okay price, that one. So yeah, give it a go. See how you get on with it. Right, let's knead that through. I've more than I need for a Rubik's Cube, but the plan of action is to use this on other decorations, you see. So I'm not too worried about it. There we go. Like so, and then this one will do red. So let's see what this is like. I wonder if this is gloopy like the pink. Or maybe it's just the pink one. No, it's just that pink one. It's really weird. Now I wonder how much I'm going to have to put in to make this really red. Oh, someone's at the door. No, I'm not going to let them in because I'm busy. There's a big notice outside that says I'm busy. Right, let's go for this. So let's see what colour this comes out at. I think I've got a delivery coming in, that's what's happening. Right, I'm just going to tell him to leave it outside, hold on. Can you just leave it outside because I'm live at the moment? I can't talk to you, thank you. Right, there we go, at least we know it's live. Right. Okay, so considering in the past, if you were to make red sugar paste up, this has actually come up pretty good quite quickly without huge amounts of paste. I think you'll agree that that's actually not too bad, is it? I quite like that. I think that's all right. My hands are completely covered in it, but there we go. I will. Let's just give that a little bit more of a knead. There you go. It looks all right, doesn't it? Okay, I'm quite pleased about that. Right, let me give my hands another wash. Okay, they're a little bit stained red, but that's just normal. I know, how dare they interrupt me, eh? Now, what else am I missing? Green, I've got green. I've done white. Let's get this off the table. I don't want any extra colours on there. Okay. Oh, I know. I'm sure when I opened the door, we probably thought, what is going on in there? I mean, I do have, I'm not joking, the world's biggest sign outside that says, do not knock on the door. But no, they're not going to be interested in that. They walk straight past it. So let's get some colour. So we need that colour. We need, let's get the blue out, because you've not seen the blue yet. So this is the blue. I think the blue is fabulous. Very nice colour. That's the green. What have we got? So is that it? White, blue, red, orange, yellow, green. Okay, perfect. We've got them all. Right. Okay, now we need to work out what size squares that we're going to need for this. They are bright, aren't they? They're lovely. I'm not going to roll out great big chunks of this. I don't need to. So let's take this down a bit because I'm going to use those for something else later. What am I doing? Squares. Okay, so let's get out. Now I've got these little square cutters. They're PME cutters actually. These ones here, little plunger cutters. So I think it will probably be that one. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's going to be this size here. There's 3 different sizes in little squares. So we're going to use the biggest one. I mean, if you make one up, a Rubik's Cube, then you know, depending on what size it comes out at, will be, you know, whatever it is that you can use here. So let's put that there. Okay, let's get some icing sugar out. Small rolling pin. And then we'll, oh my God, I think I've got the world's biggest packaging delivery arriving. I think that's what's going on. Right, let's roll this out. So, I don't want this to be too thick, because what I need to do is make sure that these squares don't stand out too far out from the Rubik's Cube itself. So we'll roll it fairly thin, like so, and then take a little bit less out of that. We don't need as much. Make sure there's no red on the rolling pin again. We'll do all the colours at the same time, because then we can just cut them all out and put them on as we go, rather than do all the red and all the blue and all that. We'll just get them all rolled out. Okay, so that's that one. And now the yellow. Oh, here we go. Met Rolf Harris. Okay. Who else did you meet? Oh, Pete Burns. Oh dear. Didn't sound like it went that well. No, they're not my paintbrushes. Unfortunately, this delivery coming in is packaging. I wish it was more exciting than that, but it isn't. It is packaging. Whoa. Very boring. Okay. And that's him dragging the packaging up the driveway, so you can hear the gravel going now as well. Right. There we go. Let's get that rolled out. Like so. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and we're missing white, aren't we? Pop that one there. We'll do white last. He's probably blocked me in, so I can't get out my unit. I'll be here for the rest of the day, but I think someone will rescue me eventually. Okay, a little bit of orange. One more colour. Gosh, I don't want to put everything. Let's move that over there. And this one here. Do I have any moulds to do with carpet, for being a carpenter? There is a tool. Yeah, there is a chocolate mould that's a tool set. I've been looking heavily at Father's Day cakes recently, or men's cakes, I really should say, men's cakes. And I have managed to get a tool. There is on my website a toolkit, which you can obviously do in chocolate and paint, or you can do it in sugar paste. You can just push the stuff in and it comes out. But yeah, that's quite a good one. Right, okay, so we've got that far. Now, what I'm going to do, let's just cut out some squares first. So we're just going to cut and plunge, and let's see how big these are, if they're going to fit. In fact, now I'm looking at them, they look quite small. Let's see how they fit, because they've got to fit. Might need to use my other cutters. Let's have a little look, see what we've got. Because they've actually got gaps between them, so that's actually quite handy, because that's what we're meant to have with the Rubik's Cube. Okay, let's have a look, because they're meant to be 3 that way. Let's just do a little test. Am I still on camera? Yes, I am. Let's just do a test and see how my measuring has gone. Could do a tiny bit bigger, but it's not too bad. we'll run with that, I think. What have we got here? I'm just checking to see if I've got any other bigger cutters. But I think the other ones are much bigger. Let's just try the bigger cutter. I've got a set of metal cutters as well, just in case. And I think they're going to be way too big. I'm going to try it though, just in case. Yeah, I think that might be too big. Let's have a look. I think I prefer that look though. Let's see if we can make this work somehow. Hold on, let's take these off. Right. Let's move that down to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to use a slightly... Oh, come on, I want you to work. I think it just needs literally millimetres trimmed off it. Yeah, we'll go with the bigger ones. I've got these little kind of square cutters that I've had for a long time in a set. So we're going to use those because I think they need to be a little bit bigger, and I'm going to just tweak them a little bit and just see if I can get them onto the Rubik's Cube, even if they're not 100% square. We will make this work. I'll just trim them a little bit that way as well. I think the other ones are just a bit too small. So let's put a little bit of, let's put a tiny bit of water on here and just make this a little bit damp. We don't need it to be too wet. Let's just see how we go. So if we put one there, if I don't like it, these will be coming off in a second. There's no mucking about here. If they're not going to pass the test, they're going to be off. Okay, let's put that one in there. Let's get that down to the bottom. If it's a little bit wet, you can kind of slide them around a little bit, which is quite helpful. So all I'm doing is that square cutter is just marginally too, oh, that's much better, marginally too big. So I've just cut down on two sides. There we go, that's coming out okay. Right, let's go the other way and make sure it fits. Luckily we can just cut out any old random colours. Right, okay, now, so just going to trim this down just a tiny bit. I'm literally cutting off about, honestly, about 1 millimetre. It's just the tiniest amount ever, but it just looks better, I think. Let's see if we can get all three in. Let's see if we can get a row. So yeah, when you put this on, can you see I'm kind of sliding it around a little bit? That's very helpful for when you're being able to do something like this. If it's just got a little bit of water on there, much easier. But obviously don't drown it in water either. Let's pull that down a little bit. I think we're going to get away with this, aren't we? What we're looking for is a little gap between these squares of black. That's why you cover it in black in the first place. So the idea is that you can see that line. Okay, that's working. Right, so this is a building process now. I bet if you even get it on here, you might even be able to just cut them out. No, that's going to make it too difficult. We won't do that method then. Okay. You're going to have to cut them before they go on. Okay, right. So let's go round. Where did I cut that side? And then that side. I'll cut that one too short now. Oh my God, this is going to drive me crazy. Okay. Going to cut loads out in a minute and get them all stuck in one go. Right. Okay, that's working. We've got 4 sides and the top to do, so not too bad. So let's cut them now. What I'm going to do, where's my icing sugar gone? What did I do with that? There it is. I'm going to put some icing sugar down because they're sticking to the table a little bit and just make life a little bit quicker for me if they're not stuck down. I'm just going to go for any old random colour. Get them on. Doesn't matter, does it? Because they're all mixed up. So that's the plan. Missed some of the 80s extravaganza. Okay, let's move that one over a little bit. Okay, just get your knife in there. There you go, that's all right. That's okay. I'm happy with that. It's only meant to be a bit of fun, isn't it? So I'll cut that there, cut that there, put that one in there, like so. You can always get your knife at the end and just put it in between the gaps and just push them off like that way. Make sure they're, and then go that way as well. Just make sure you've got the gaps appearing. You can sort of make them a bit more square. There you go. So you can, there you go, that's all right. Okay, let's turn it that way. Let's do this one. Again, same as before, just a little bit of water. Don't put on tons because otherwise it's going to be unbearable. Just need a little bit. And then we will cut out a few more. My ultimate fear actually was these would not fit, but they're okay. They're all right. They just need a little bit of trimming, but they're okay. And that's all we need. Just need them to be okay. So we're going to cut out lots of squares now. Now we've got a pattern. We know what's happening. We can cut out a few so that we can just cut them randomly and put them on. So they're in blocks of 9. I'm not going to turn it over again because you're going to see this one in a second. But if you're doing them with sugar paste like I'm doing them, you just got to make sure they don't stick to the table, because otherwise what happens is when you pick them up, they start to change shape and that becomes quite annoying. If you do it with modelling paste, you won't get so many issues, but I'm trying to use the sugar paste I've got rather than get into modelling paste today. Although I may well do modelling paste later. We'll see how we go. See how we get on for time. What is the time? 12. Okay. All right for the moment. I knew the Rubik's Cube was going to take a little bit of time, but we're making progress, so that's okay. There we go. Well, I've made that a little bit too long. Let's just cut that back a bit. Take that bit off. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you'll have to tell me all your 80s stories now while I'm doing this. So we'll put that one down there because we've got a white one over there. It would be a shame to have an 80s cake without a Rubik's Cube, wouldn't it? So we've got to have one. We'll put that one there. Like so, I don't know what the top looks like yet. I'm sure I'm going to turn it over and have a horror story in a minute. Be fine. Be fine. Go, different colours. It doesn't matter, does it? I mean, that's the joy of this. You can just cut out whatever and just put them in. Doesn't matter. But we are having to cut them down a little bit, which is a bit more time consuming than it would have been. But it's making good progress now, so we're okay. We're in the swing of it now. Although every time I say that, I manage to do something, so I may just keep quiet. I think Rubik's Cube was one of those hit and miss things. You either were really good at it, which was not me, but I tried, and you had to get the book to cheat, which I also had, because I just couldn't do it. Now it's getting a bit high on this side. Let me have a little look at the top and see how it's coming on. And down the side here as well. It's actually okay. It's okay for what I need it to be. I'm going to just turn that down again. Let's cut these back a bit. It's obviously a little bit shorter on that side. Or I've cut them a bit longer. I just think I'd probably cut them a little bit longer. So we'll squash them down a bit. So we'll take our knife. I'm not going to take them off. I can just get my knife in there and then push those down. There you go, that's better. So sometimes you don't need to keep removing the squares, just use your knife to just move things around a little bit. And we can get away with that. I'm going to just take those off because they need to be a bit lower. There we go. Okay. Looking good so far. That's better. Just got a little bit too big. Only when I turned it over the other side you could see it, so I don't want that. Okay. So yeah, it's a tiny bit of a faff, but it's not unachievable, is it? It's okay. It's okay. That's better. Much better. Right, let's pop that in there and just shift this around a little bit. Okay, right, now I'm going to turn it, even though I've got colours on that side. Hopefully that should be okay. But what I will do, where's the icing sugar? There it is. I'm just going to put that underneath just to stop it sticking to the table, because don't forget I've just put my squares on that side. So let's get the brush again. There we go, like so. And here we go. So just to recap, I'm using the neon colours this morning. These are Squire's Kitchen brand. They're a really nice new colour. They're very, very bright, and we're going to put this all together in a big 80s cake, which is what I'm doing this morning. I kind of had this mad idea that I would do this live. Sometimes with serious regret, but so far we're okay. We're doing all right. It might take me a little bit longer than usual, because normally I'm only on for an hour, but I think I could be here a bit longer today. But that's all right. Well, I could be here even longer when I try and find out if I can't get out my unit, because I put all the packaging in the way. All right, let's put that on there. And still cut. So we've got one more side and the top to go. So we're making good progress now. Let's just push those back a little bit. Okay. And this, I suppose, at least it will be edible at the end of it, won't it? So you can eat the Rubik's Cube. There we go. But yeah, there's all sorts of different ways you could do this, or you might see this and think, oh my goodness me, I'm not doing that. That's a faff. Or you do it in advance. That'd be even better, wouldn't it? And then you wouldn't have to be doing this at 100 miles an hour like I'm trying to do. Well, I wouldn't do it live either. Luckily, you probably won't have that problem. Let's move that across, get that in there again. There we go. Yeah, you won't. Hopefully, you won't have to do it with the with everybody watching. Okay, put that on there. What other colours do we want here? Let's go for some more yellow, I think. Where's my cutter gone? I can't see it now for looking. What have I done with it? Oh, there it is. I was thinking that can't be. I haven't moved. It can't be far away. There we go. That's better. So one more side after this, plus the top, and we're there. So not much more to go. And I'm doing this at, I would describe this as high speed for me, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to give you the idea, isn't it? Right, let's turn it again. There's lots of icing sugar on the other side of it now, but that's fine. We can deal with that later. Okay, and we'll just take, so we're just making this damp, all right? So we're not making this really wet. Don't make it really wet, otherwise it's horrid to deal with. Okay, so this is the last side, she says, apart from the top, which I'm very relieved about. And yeah, we could have done it as a strip actually. I've just suddenly thought of that. Could have used the multi-ribbon cutter. That's another way of doing it. But that's okay. We're on a roll now. We'll see it through. I say it's not going to be perfect, but hey ho, it doesn't matter. And do you know what? We're going to turn it around so we like the look of it on one side and not the other. That's what we do with everything, isn't it? You make a cake, you don't go to put the worst bit at the front, are you? Well, I don't anyway. I always hide that at the back. There we go. A bit more green. We'll have some more orange. I seem to have hardly cut any orange out, so let's get some more orange on the go. There we go. Right. So once we've done this, and if this is successful and we're happy with it, then we can start putting the cake together. And then we've got lots of nice images and a very flash topper, which I'm sure you'll love, which I didn't make. I had to buy it. But it's very suitable for what I'm doing, so that's fine. Let's pop this one on there. I'll cut a few more out in advance now. Let's see if we can get this going. There you go, look at that, that's better. Cut this one out. Oh, let's turn it round. There we go. Right, let's just get the knife. So that's all the sides done, she says. Thank goodness for that. Right, let's turn it round. Okay, that's looking cool. That's okay. Right, you'll see it on the side in a minute. Well, I'm going to do the top first, and then we'll, I'll show you the side view. But actually, do you know what? I'm pretty happy with this. That's a relief. Right, let's do the top. There we go. Right, so 9 to go. Let's move these bits out of the way. Put the flipping cutter again, haven't I? What have I done with it now? There it is. I keep burying it. Right, so we need 9 to go. And it's all done. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Getting in a mess here. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of those. Right, so we'll just cut these final ones down. So it's not going to be the world's most perfect Rubik's Cube, but do you know what? It doesn't matter particularly. Just the idea of it, really. Give it a go. It actually looks okay. I'm quite happy with it, so I'm going to live with that. Considering it's a funny shape, you know, it's difficult to get things square. Actually, it's all right. It's okay. You'd have done each side the same. I didn't have time to think about that. I just thought, let's just get these squares on. Let's not worry. Any colour will do. I'm really not worried. Let's just get them done. But I have to keep checking the measurements because you can get a bit carried away with this. God, I'm going to need a round of applause after this, I think. I'm going to have a lie down, I think. Oh, I've cut that one too small. No, I've done it. That's okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to lie down after this. 2 to go. Oh my God. Thank goodness for that. Right, last one. Brilliant. View. Thank goodness. Let's put that one in. Ta-da! There we go. Wonderful. Right, now what I'm going to do is just split those two up at the top there. Put the knife in and just push those back a bit. Oh, thank goodness. Right, okay, so I'm just going to use my smedger just to make sure it's all stuck. Just press it all down. Don't forget I didn't do the bottom. Do you know what? That is pretty good, actually. I am quite pleased with that. I'm going to put it on the side camera, and I think you might, well, it might look worse when I put it on that other camera. It looks all right to me. That's all right. Look at that. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. That's going to do the job, I think. Right, let's just have a mini tidy up before we start embarking on the next thing. Let's just get, I'm going to pick up some of the larger bits and then we'll get rid of all the small bits that have gone together. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel like I need to bow at this point. That's got blue in it, so let's get rid of that. That's not orange. We'll keep those. Right, let's put the square away. Yeah, I feel like I need to go da 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 da. That was like doing the Rubik's Cube, but live and in sugar. That's exactly what it was like. Right, okay, so we can get the cake stacked now. Let's do that next. So let's put all these little bits in the bag so we don't have those everywhere. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? I'm quite pleased with that. It's done the job. Right, it's just very time consuming. So let's put you there. Bring that in here. Right, we've got our board, which we are going to have to cover because we can't do things that are not covered. But I'm actually going to cover this in a strip. So I'm not going to cover it in one hit. I'm just going to go all the way around. So what we'll do, so I'm just getting strangled by these beads here around my neck, is find my palette knife. That's the next thing. And we will stick the cake down that we did earlier. Palette knife, where are you? Let's get my smedges out of the way. I'm going to need those in a minute though, so I don't want to get rid of those. Right, palette knife, hold on. Right, let drawer. I had it a minute ago. Hold on. Let's find that. No, I've moved it. Let's come back up onto screen for a second. I'm still here. Palette knife. Where are you? There it is. Right. I'm going to buy a massive stock of palette knives and Pritt stick, and then I won't lose these things, you see. Once you go live, I can't find anything. You do need these things to continue, you see. Right. Okay, so back to the cake. Let's go back on the other screen. There we are. Right, now we're going to put some royal icing. So I've made this with whipping it up. I don't know what flavour this is, but it smells very nice. So whipping it up is Carol's product that's got egg in it. So you just add water and then you can make up royal icing, which is very handy for gluing cakes to boards for sure, because it's like the concrete of cake world. Right, just going to have a final look at my cake. Decide which bit is the front. Okay, let's pop this on now. I'm going to just offset this. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm going to offset that slightly because my Rubik's cube's got to go on there, you see. I need to make sure it's going to fit. Let's push it back. Are you going to fit? A tiny bit more. There we go. So it fit? Just about. There we go. I want to make sure it definitely fits. So that's it. Doesn't worry about that bit there. We can cover that. Right, let's get the board done. Let's put you, Mr. Rubik's Cube, over there so I don't lose you, because I will be very annoyed myself if I then damage it. Right, let's go for another colour. So we've got green, we've got pink. Blue I'm going to keep back because I'm going to use that for something else. So, what should we use? We could use black actually. That might look quite nice. That would set it off, wouldn't it? Let's try. How much black have I got left? Let's have a little look. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, black is quite good. Let's have a look what red is like. Red is okay. Oh, it might need to be orange actually. Look, orange is quite fun, isn't it? Maybe orange. I swear I need Kelly, you see. She'd be in here going, "My mum, use that." Yellow. Let's go yellow. I don't really want to use black, I've got to be honest. So let's use yellow. So let's have a little bit of yellow. We're not going to need huge amounts, but we'll need a little bit. In fact, I'm just looking at this board and thinking I could have gone over it in one go. I might do that instead. I might backtrack a minute. Okay, we're going yellow. Yeah, whipping it up is what you can use to make royal icing. So royal icing has got egg in it, and whipping it up has got egg in it. So if you add water to it, you can make royal icing. So if you have a full bag of whipping it up, it's 70 grams of water. If it's a half bag of whipping it up, it's 250 grams of water. So that's the ratio, or you can quarter it. You can make it a bit smaller if you want. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to just backtrack slightly. I'm going to just hold on. Going to find a larger palm. I'm actually going to do this board in one. I've changed my mind. I'll tell you why, because I think it will be easier and it will be quicker. So I'm just going to take that off for a second. Just take that back and use that in a second. And then what we'll do is we'll put some water over this. Cover the board in one, and then we'll put the cake on it, and we'll still use our royal icing, so nothing's wasted. So that's just water going on there. We're going to use our yellow. Go line a little bit more to get them on the board. Let's use our other paste because that one feels a bit funny. Yeah, purple's a nice colour as well. Say, I've had them all out today, haven't I? What time's Carol due on? She's probably due on at 1. I will be off, Carol, I'm trying. No, I think she's not due until 2, is she? So that's okay. We've got a bit of time. We should have this all come together very quickly at the end. Actually, you'll be quite surprised because I've got lots of little bits made up. So the Rubik's Cube was the big one. And we've done that now. So we're going to be nice to see it all together and see what the colours look like, I think. I've got a very nice picture of John Taylor to go on it as well, obviously, because that's who Jenny liked. And then there's a little icon of Top of the Pops because we both went to Top of the Pops together many times. So there's lots of footage on YouTube of us on Top of the Pops. Mainly Comic Relief and Christmas we used to go. So I have been on television with a red nose on my face. How mortifying is that? Right, let's get this. I've just added a bit more neon in just to brighten it up again a little bit because I added some white. Carol's on at 2. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll go and get my lunch and have a lie down after that. Okay. Right. So we'll put that down. And we'll roll this out. Whoa, look at this colour. This yellow is so bright. It's mega bright. But, you know, that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We're trying to make a nice bright cake, so you certainly can't say I have used the entire range of neons today, can you? I've used it all. And I might just put a little bit more under there just to stop it sticking. There we are. Yeah, all these colours are neons. That's what we're using today. Right, let's have a look where we're getting to. No, it's not far out, is it? Push it out a little bit more on the other side and we should be there. Right, what we'll do is we'll just straighten it out when we get it onto the board. So we'll pick it up. Which camera am I on? I'm trying to work it out. I'm on this one. Right, let me just switch. Hold on. Then it's just easier just to roll that final bit out. Just picked up some bits there. Let's get rid of those. There we go. Just got something on my hand there. It doesn't matter because it will get covered by the board. I'm not too worried. There we go. Magic. So I think I've got a bit of food colouring on my hands, but that's okay. Plastic side scraper. So we're going to pick this up. And we'll just cut it like a pie. And just go round with our cake board or our cutter. Go around our cake board and just remove the excess sugar paste. You can do this on a turntable if you've got a taller one. If you've got a shorter one, you'll probably need to pick it up. I have to pick it up when I'm live because you can't see it, otherwise it's too high. So that's why I have to pick it up and just push that bit over there a bit. Fabulous. Right, now we've got a board. Let's go over to there. Now we can put our cake back on. And we know it's going to be set quite a long way back. Let's get that. It's going to be about there. We'll put our whipping it up back on. And then we will bring... I'll tell you, make a nice emojis. Maureen's just come up with a good idea. Yeah, the little emojis would be good for this. Right, whoops, sorry, just had your camera kicked then. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's not going to fall off, is it? Nope. I want to make sure it's over far enough that we can get that Rubik's Cube on. Perfect. Look at that. Magic. Right, that looks nice, isn't it? Very flash in terms of colour, so that's good. Now we're going to stack it. Let's get that done. So we're going to put one cake on top of the other, which we'll do next. So we'll dowel it first. Cake board, that's what I want. Have I got a small one? Is this the same size as the cake? I think it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so I've got a little 6-inch round cake board here. I'm just going to move my Rubik's Cube out of the way. I've got a little 6-inch round cake board here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a scriber and I'm just going to mark around the outside edge of this cake, like so. Actually, I'm not going to offset it as far. I'll bring it forward a little bit. So I've just kind of got a circle on there. And then I'm going to use some doweling rods. So I'm going to have to put some rods in to support it, because otherwise it's going to end up collapsing. We're going to need to put a support system in. So I'm going to use I'll just get these cut at the end and then I'll show you. So I'll just cut them into the bin. So we're going to use these rods here. Now what I've done, when you get these, they tend to have sort of ends like this. Now you can't use those on doweling because they'll slip like that. So you need to cut them so they're flat like I've done here. Now I have a pair of garden secateurs that I have used only ever for cake, and that's what I use. So what you want to do is push that down until it gets to a certain point, and then you can either mark it with a pen. That's probably the safest way to do it, or the way I do it, which is terrible really, but you put your fingernail there and you cut it, and then you know that it's going to be where it needs to be. It comes up level with the cake. Okay, that's how you're going to do it. Now they all need to be the same height, because then at least you know the cake is then level. So there's no point cutting a high one up here and a low one down here. So you want the highest point on your cake, which I strongly suspect is over here. I'm not going to put loads of dowels in because I don't need to. So I'm going to just push that down to there. Just bring this out, cut it. I'm going to cut them all the same length. I'm probably going to put in not that many actually, maybe 3, because it's not a big cake, and also it's not very heavy. It's just a bit of a support system going on in there. So there we go. So we'll put one in there. We'll put them in like a Y shape. That should be fine. Put one in there. Now the other thing you've noticed, if you haven't looked already, is I have pushed them back in. I've not got them on the outside edge here. You need to push them back in, otherwise you will have a problem, all right, with the weight distribution. The weight distribution is here, it's not on the outside edge, so you need to bring them in. Right, done that. Let's go and get some more whipping it up. Let's put that on there. So I'll put a generous amount of whipping it up on there, and we're going to add the green cake. Now I'm just going to see if I can bring this camera up a little bit. We're going for a ride here, everybody. There we go, otherwise it's going to not be able to see anything. And then we're going to pop that one. Whoa, look at those colours. They are bright. There we go. So we've now got our 2-tier up. Might even have to pull the camera back a bit. I'm going to put you on the other camera for a second while I just fiddle with this, otherwise you'll end up feeling like you're going on a journey here. Right, let me just pull this camera back a second. I have to little turn it round because it's got very big now. There we go, that's better. Then you can see it. Let me fiddle with my camera a bit. There we go. Da, da, da. There we go. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a blue band going around both cakes. So let's get the blue neon out. Now I did make this up, but I don't think I've made up enough, so I'll make up a little bit more. I'm not going to put my Rubik's Cube on yet because I need to do these bands. So I'm going to grab some more couture. I'm going to put a little bit of extra blue in there. Have I done blue yet? I don't think I've opened the blue one, have I? No. I'm descending into chaos a little bit. It's not a bad colour combo so far, is it? So I'll put a bit of extra blue in there, and then we'll give that a knead, like so. Mix that in. It's all over my hands, but there we go, never mind, doesn't matter. It comes off, actually washes off not too bad. I have to say it was all right. But I need to go and wash my hands before I continue, otherwise it's going to end up with spots of colour on there. But there you go, so that's the blue neon. Let's get that. And let's get some kitchen roll. Yeah, I've still got blue hands, but it doesn't matter. I'm happy with that. You're going on about 80s things. I know, there's a lot, isn't there, when you start thinking about it. Right, let's get hold of my smidger. With whipping it up, I just use tap water. I don't use cool boiled water. How long does it last? Keep it room temperature, keep it in plastic container, anything between 2 and 3 weeks. So it's a long time. Right, so what we're going to do with this, we're going to roll this out. Put a little bit of icing sugar down. We're going to roll this out to make a band to go around this cake. So we'll start the process, and then what we'll do is we'll get hold of the smidger and we'll let that do. It's got green in it, of course it has. And then we'll use this to roll it. And what this does, it will give me a nice even band that will go all the way around the cake. As long as you don't press too hard. If you press too hard, you squash it. So I'm going to use this to get a bit of a going round. I'm going off the edge of the table now. So once you've kind of got it at the thickness that you want, if you do it like this with your fingers, you get this nasty finger marks all over it. So if you use one of these, then you don't have this problem. So if you do that, it's not going to work. If you do it with this, it is going to work. And then as soon as you start getting the right width, you just kind of move down a little bit. Don't want it to be mega chunky. Let's have a little look and see how we're getting on. Okay, that's probably enough to do the top. Let's see if we can get to the bottom in one go. It's also easier with modelling paste. Although the sugar paste these days, they are a little bit more durable than they ever used to be. So they seem to have a bit more stretch and last in them. I'm going up the table now. I want to try and do the bottom in one go if I can. I think that's probably okay. Let's risk that, shall we? So let's go over here and just move that forward a little bit. So I'm just going to take some water and just paint that round the bottom. I'm going to take one end of this knife, just cut the end off, and then we'll pop that on there like so. And we'll just run that round like that and cut it at the back. Okay, so no piping involved. Just push that back in. There you go, look at that. That looks all right, doesn't it? And then what we'll do is we'll just do the same for the next layer as well. So I'll just keep the blue consistent. I'll just do the same thing here. Should be enough. It feels like it's probably enough. I've done this a few times in the past, so I'm sure it's going to be okay. And then again, just take the brush, go all the way round, and we'll start there. This is a nice quick way of doing covering the bottom without being too stressed about it. There you go, look at that. That looks all right, doesn't it? Perfect. Right, let's get this Rubik's Cube on before I damage it. Let's pop that on there. So I'm going to pick that up and just put a little bit of, so I need a bit more whipping it up. Let's put some of that on, make sure it's not going anywhere. And then we'll pop the Rubik's Cube on, which is the best side. Is that okay? Let's have a look. I don't want it. Actually, it doesn't matter if it's at an angle, to be honest. Does it? Okay, so that's the front. That's how we're going to view this cake. So there we go. We've got that there. Like that. Press that down. Make sure it's got going anywhere, which it isn't. Perfect. Right. Let's put her name on it next. And obviously, I need to rub in the fact that she's actually turning 50. Like the best friend that I am. So I've got all these little cutters here. Let's bring those over here. Have I got them all? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Right, let's go back onto this one. So I'm going to just use the colours that I've already made. So looking at this, I think we're going to use yellow to put her name on. I'm just adjusting my Rubik's Cube now. Okay, so let's put blue on my hands. I'm hoping it's not going to affect the colour. Hopefully it should be okay. So I've got these cutters here. They're like, they called, I've forgotten now, something like Cake Star or something like that. They're quite nice cutters, so we'll use those. I'm not going to cut them out too thin, because I want them to hold their shape when I move them. If I cut them out too thin, when I pick them up, they're all going to stretch. So I'm going to keep it fairly thick. Probably haven't rolled out enough, but never mind. Right, so let's cut out her name. What I'm going to do is line it all up here. I've been cutting out something else here. Just run your hand over the back of them, and that just gets off any kind of like the hairy edges. I'm always talking about hairy edges. So what I'm hoping then is this will pick up the board. That's the idea anyway. There we go. And then one more. Then I'm going to show you a little trick I do, which is very helpful for spacing out lettering. So that's Jenny. And I think we put 50 in a different colour. Let's do that in orange. Let's just grab some of that. Hopefully I won't have to cut them out again. Sometimes, you know, when you pick letters up and you put them on a cake and then you squash them. I've done that quite a few times, but hopefully. The other thing you can do, which looks really cool actually, is you can double do these. I might show you that actually, because that is quite a cool method. Maybe we'll do that. I'll show you that then. So if you want to do it twice, so if you start with, say, the J, I'm just going to have to put some icing sugar down, stop things shifting. If you cut out the J, or your letter, or whatever it is you're doing, get your water. And then if you put a little bit of water on the top of that J and then pop the other J slightly to one side, you get this kind of cool double colour look, which I really like actually. I've done this quite a few times on my cakes. A bit of yellow on that. So you just literally just put a tiny bit on. So you're not trying to line it up, you're trying to put it slightly to one side. So you get like sort of hints of the orange underneath there. I just think it looks cool. Okay, let's do that. What cutters are they? Very good question. I think they're Cake Star or something like that. I've got that on there. And then one more. I'm going to have to roll it out again, not quite enough. So again, just take your water, little bit of water, and then attach your letter just slightly off. It doesn't have to be majorly off, just very slightly off. Like that. See, that looks cool, doesn't it? I think they look better myself. Let's move my letters out of the way now because I'm going to get in a muddle. Right, I've used that one, I've used that one. Right. And then we'll put that on there. Pop that on like so. Okay, so one of the most difficult things is you've made these lovely letters, they all look fantastic, and then you've got to get them on the cake. And trying to get them on the cake can sometimes be the bit where people come undone because they don't think that to measure it, and suddenly you put it on, it's all in the wrong place. I'm going to just show you what I do, and then actually I've decided to do the 50 in the same. Oh, I've done 2 zeros, what am I thinking? She's not going to be 100 or 500. Need the other 5. Right. Put icing sugar down. It's cool, isn't it? I think it's a really nice, easy thing to do. You don't, in fact, to be honest with you, you don't have to be sort of rocket science with this. It's very, very easy to do. And I just think it's really effective. It's really effective and not difficult. This one here. Okay, right, done. You could even reverse these if you wanted to, so you could do them that way round. If you wanted to do something a little bit different, you could do that. So again, just a little bit of water on there. We'll put the number round the opposite way. I'm just going to move these out of the way so they're not under my nose for the next 10 minutes. I'm moving neons as well. There we go. So you can just pop that again. So you can reverse it. It's very 80s, you see, isn't it? And we'll pop that on like, oh, I've done it the wrong way round. As typically it was going too well. Might have to do that one again. Let's see if it sticks to the tablecloth. Ah, you little devil. Put some icing sugar down. Hopefully that'll stop it from shifting. There we go. So something like that works out actually quite well. Now, what do? I do a couple of things actually. Where's my ribbon? Where's some ribbon? So I have this funny old trick. I don't like measuring things particularly. What I tend to do is I take hold of a piece of ribbon and I go from there to there. That's my widest point, okay, on the display of my letters. And then I go, I'm going to hold on tight to this, switch cameras like magic, and then I go to the front of my cake and I take hold of my ribbon that I've got from here to here, and that's where I know that that needs to start, because I'd probably, if I didn't think this out, probably start the J about there and then it'd be the wrong place. So the J's got to start right round here. So I can just take hold of my, I'm just going to put a scriber point in there. Don't actually need to mark the end because we're going to end up there, aren't we? But that means it will be central rather than worrying too much about anything else with it. So let's get some, now you can stick these on with water or a little bit of royal icing, but whatever you do, don't put on too much, because if you put on too much, you're going to find it's all going to start sliding down the cake. Now I want to get on there Jenny and 50, so I'm going to start a little bit high. I'm not going to start in the middle. And we'll just put the letters on like so. And you'll see how kind of cool this is, because it's what's going to happen here. It's going to pick up all the colours on the Rubik's Cube and all the colours all over the rest of the cake. You can see it coming around now. Okay. And then we'll put the other one in there. It's also quite nicely 3D as well, because I quite like that look. You can also use your plastic side scraper as a good one for checking levels and seeing where you are. You can always hold that in position and just check. Lift things up and down a bit. I'm probably on camera at the minute, I might know. So again, a little bit of water, so not too much water. Yeah, so you don't need to measure things. I think a little bit of ribbon, which you probably got around anyway because you're going to use it to do your board. Let's hope. Doesn't matter even what colour it is, does it? Just use it. Just put it across your table. There you go. It's bang in the middle now. Spot on. There you go. I've gone for big letters because I want to make sure she knows well and truly it's her birthday. And then the 50, again, I can just, because they're only small letters, I'm going to get those in the middle. Don't even have to measure anything there. So that's nice and easy, isn't it? It's just two little letters here. So we'll pop those on now. There and there. Again, you can kind of leave them the same colour or you can reverse it. It's up to you. I think everything about this cake is just kind of very sort of just switch it around according to it is what you want it to be. There we go. All right, so I've used all the capital letters for that. Right, what's next? Well, obviously, if you're in the 80s, then you know the one thing you do need, and that's some lovely images. So I have printed some images off, and we're going to mount them onto white sugar paste, and we're going to get them onto the cake. So Jenny likes John Taylor from Duran Duran, so I've managed to find a very nice picture of John Taylor, and I've printed that off. And then we went to see the Kids from Fame in Liverpool 2 years ago. So I've got the Fame logo as well. And I've also, can't remember, so I printed out now. I'll have a look in a second when I get it out. Oh, then Top of the Pops. I've got the Top of the Pops logo, very important, because we went to Top of the Pops. Now, the reason I use the white sugar paste is because if you use a coloured sugar paste underneath it, when it gets a bit wet, sometimes it changes the colour, or you can see through it. It sort of loses the image colour. So I'm going to just use white for this, just as a backing for this cake more than anything else. How am I doing for time? 1:45. Okay, well, I'll definitely be finished by 2, so that's good. Right. And if anyone sees Kelly commenting on here, you can tell her to come down. Come and help me. Right, so I've got one of these sheets that I've printed off with various lovely images on it of John Taylor. There we go. Let's go on to this one. Let's move that out of the way. So, scissors. I'm going to, there they are. Now, luckily, I wasn't into John Taylor, so Jenny was welcome to have him. So these are just printed images that I've just done at home on my edible printer. And they're on a backing sheet, so you have to peel the backing off, like so. Get rid of that. I've had lots of cake toppers on my site. We're not allowed to sell anything that's copyrighted, you see, but because this cake is free, I'm not charging for this cake, it's a present. I can print all sorts of bits and pieces without too much problem. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of water on here. Now I need to be super careful. In fact, I was so paranoid about this, I printed this twice because I can't get this wrong. I don't want to get any water on the image, because if I get water on the image, then it basically will just remove the print straight away. So if you ever get cake toppers, don't get any water on the front of it, okay? Because that's it, it's ruined very, very quickly. So we're going to put a lovely picture of John Taylor on the front, because that's who she likes. So we're going to put him on, like so. Right, so now what we're going to do with him, I'm just going to lift him up for a second, and I'm going to just put some icing sugar over there, and I'm going to just do the images in one go, so we don't have to keep coming back to it. So we've done that one. Now we've also got Top of the Pops, because that's what we used to go and do. We used to go to Top of the Pops. You have to be careful with what images you put on cakes if you're selling them for copyright purposes, yeah. These are official logos, you see. So you just have to be a little bit careful. Right. But this is a freebie, or it's a present. So we're going to put that on. Yeah, if anyone sees Kelly appear on here, if she makes any comments, can you tell her to come down here? She will probably appear to see if I'm still live, you see. Because we're supposed to be going out to have lunch somewhere. That's the idea anyway. We'll have to see how we go. we're not far off finishing. We've got the images to do, a few little beads and the topper, and we're actually there. So I reckon we'll be done in the next half an hour max. It's been a very long live for me today. Right, let's pop this one on here. Let's find a space for it. So top of the pops, a very important place to be if you're in the 80s. Maybe not so much now, but for me, it was very important, and for Jenny. Jenny and I have been friends for since we were 15. So, and then she married my husband's brother. So we are now sister-in-laws, which is lovely. So my best friend from school is my sister-in-law. So that's not bad going, is it? And our children are cousins. So you can't beat that, really. Let's roll out a little bit more. Sorry about my blue hand. At least you know I've been doing something with neons. I'm doing all right, aren't I? Might have to serious lie down after this. Right, now we're going to do, where are we, scissors? Let's do, I'm not sure I was going to use all these images, in fairness. I just printed off a whole load this morning. Yeah, they are edible images. They are just printed on edible paper. So edible printing, so how that kind of works is a printer that has food colouring in it. So it is actually a normal printer. So, you know, it's a Canon printer or whatever it is, and it's just got food colouring in it and instead of actual ink. And then you print on sugar sheets. So you print on, there we go, special sugar paste sheets. So you don't print on paper or anything. So we went to see the kids from Fame in Liverpool last year, or year before last. Oh, it was so funny. Honestly, it was the funniest thing ever. So we have to have reference to that, obviously, and get that on there. So I'll put that on there like so. Oh, thank you so much. I'm exhausted. How long have I been going? Nearly 2 hours. Oh my God. Okay, that's fine. It's okay. I did say to you, "I'll get your lunch this time," because I did think I was going to be here a while. Carol's probably thinking, what's she doing? She's still on. Right, so we have got the main images at the moment. Let's do the other two, and then we've got them all done. So Gloria Estefan, first concert we ever went to, very important. So we need to get her album cover on here as well. We're massive Gloria Estefan fans, so that's got to go on. I think the thing is with this as well, if you do an 80s cake for someone, you know, when you speak to people, I've actually got one coming up at the end of April. You know, for her it was Madonna and all this. It just varies for different people, doesn't it? For Jenny and I, it was Dirty Dancing as well, because we went to see the film at the cinema and we just came out just with our, literally with our mouths on the floor going, wow, that was the most amazing film we've ever seen in our lives. And yeah, I still absolutely love it to this day. So we've got to get that on there as well. So there we go. I'll think about the Malibu one in a minute. Let's see how much space we've got. Right. Okay. It goes quick, does it? Oh, good. I know, actually, today, time-wise, it has gone extremely quickly. I did think it would take me a bit of time, but I didn't think it would take me quite as long as this. But we are on the home stretch now, which is good. That's what we want. Got 2 more decorations to do. Once these are on, and these will be on very quickly, we have got a tiny bit more to do. It's because I've sidetracked slightly a little bit, and the Rubik's Cube took a bit of time, but that's okay. Dirty Dancing, what a film. I know, what a film. Isn't it just the most amazing film ever? Even to this day, it's just iconic, isn't it? It's going to be like Grease, isn't it, forever? It's going to be one of these ones that any generation can watch, I think, and just love. It's the music, isn't it, again? You know, Dirty Dancing. You see, look, I've mentioned Dirty Dancing and everybody's gone, yeah, Dirty Dancing, because it is just so lovely. It's such a nice film. So we've got to get that in there as well. So this is our last image amongst the chaos I'm in. That's not too bad. Okay, let's cut that back a bit so I don't end up painting too much. Don't forget to peel the back off. That's very important. It won't stick actually if you don't peel the back off, so that's quite helpful, isn't it? Okay, then well, I've got too much water on there. Let's take that back a bit. Okay, pop this on. And we'll trim around it. So the lovely Gloria Estefan. First concert we ever went to. So we've got to get that on there. Well, that was the first concert I ever went to. She went to see Duran Duran before that. You see, I hadn't got that far. Okay, let's pop that again and some icing sugar over there so it doesn't get in the way. And then the iconic Dirty Dancing, which has triggered everyone to death. You're chomping at the bit for me to get this done. Yay, it's coming, it's coming, don't worry. Right, good old Patrick Swayze, let's get him in there. Yeah, the Kids from Fame, that's who we went to see. Oh my goodness, what an experience that was, I tell you. It was one of the funniest days ever. More bucket list stuff to see. Right, okay, that's done. I'm going to need to just get rid of some of this paper because I don't want to end up accidentally mixing it in with something. Right, so we've got our images, so let's get those on the cake. So we'll go back to the other camera. There we go. Let's bring that back round. Now, obviously, John Taylor takes pride of place because he is the most important person in Jenny's world in the 80s, so he has to go at the front. So again, you can either stick this on with a little bit of royal icing. I do tend to use water because it's like I can slide them around a little bit then and get them in the right place. But honestly, be careful because if you put too much water on here, what's going to end up happening is it will just slide. You'll put it on, you'll look at it and go, that's great, turn it round, come back round, and the image will be down. So let's put you on there. And make sure you've got no water on your hands because otherwise you'll take the image off. Okay, he looks quite cool, doesn't he? There he is. Jenny will be very happy about that. See, Jenny was the one who bought me the Hugh Grant. I should put that in there. And she is responsible for buying me Hugh Grant. So I've got to get my own back now, you see, with the John Taylor image. Right, Top of the Pops. Let's get that on next. Also very iconic. Let's put that on the angle. Let's not put that straight because Top of the Pops is a bit more fun, isn't it? So let's put that like that. Okay. I can hear the theme tune in my head now. And then also the Fame one, let's not keep that straight either. Let's put that at a bit of an angle. So again, put that there like so. And we'll put that like that. So I put that one on. It's a bit dusty at the moment, but that will come off. Okay, so how are we doing? So we've got John Taylor, we've got Top of the Pops. Okay, now Gloria Estefan. Let's get you on there next, and we're going to put you to this side. We're going to pop you just there. If you've got one image that's slightly at an angle, it does look then a little bit better if you put the other one straighter. Don't ask me why, but it just does. Okay, so we've done that one. Now round we go to this one. So Dirty Dancing is going to go on this side. Get that on next. And we'll pop that on like so. See, once they're on, that's it, you see. And I quite like them a little bit 3D. So to me, they look better if they're mounted on white. I mean, you don't have to mount them on white, but I just prefer to do it mounted on white. Just going to trim that a little bit down there. There we go. Okay, so that's where we've got our images on so far. Now, we're going to make some beads that are going to come down over this cake. Now, what colour should we do? I've got pink on today, haven't I? But the trouble is with the pink, we've already got a pink cake. I think yellow may be the answer, so let's do yellow. So I'm going to show you a nice quick way of doing these. There's two different ways you can do this, but I've only got time really to show you one, I'm afraid, today. So we'll just do the quick way. or a way, not necessarily a quick way, but a good way. Okay, so let's put, you can still see me at the moment, so that's fine. So I'm just going to roll out some yellow, and we're going to make a lovely beaded necklace using this. So we've got roughly the same thickness over there. This is quite a quick way of doing it. Well, it's certainly an equal way of doing it. Let's see how big this is going to come out if I use that cutter. Perfect. Right, little PME cutter here. And all I'm going to do is literally just punch out a load of circles very, very quickly, because they're all going to be exactly the same then, you see. If I sit here trying to roll individual balls, it's never going to work. They'll all come out different sizes. Whereas if I do this, I can get all the same very, very quickly. Okay, so we can get a nice 80s necklace on there somewhere, like that. You see, it's very quick. Doesn't take long. Okay, like that. And then all we'll do is we'll turn the cake back round again. So we'll bring it over here a little bit. We'll just make a necklace that just kind of goes around there maybe. So you just take hold of these and you just literally roll them. And they immediately are then exactly the same size. So that is how easy it is. It's really, really straightforward. Now I'm going to just stick them on with water. I'm not going to worry too much about glues and things. And we'll start, let's think what I want to do with this. So we'll start sort of over there, and we'll stick one on there. And we'll stick another one next to it. So you can roll them in your fingers 2 at a time. Put them on the table, round you go, next 2, pick them up, and then roll them again, pop them on the table. So this is a really, really quick way to make sort of a beaded type 80s necklace, isn't it? Because they're all going to be exactly the same. And roll them round. It's all back, it's like little football tips all over again, isn't it? Okay, isn't that easy? All right. As long as the thickness of the sugar paste is roughly the same, then it should be okay. Should be fine. I'm going to find a smaller paintbrush actually to put my water on, because I've got the world's largest paintbrush in action at the moment. That's no good. So you can do 2 at a time. It's really quick. Okay. Might need a few more, but I think I'll probably just use what I've got and then add a few more if I need them. But because it's sugar paste, just work quite quickly. If it's modelling paste, you've got a little bit of extra time. But if it's sugar paste, you need to be on it. Right, let me just get another brush, because this brush is a bit too big. Right. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just put a little dab of water, like so. Will come down the cake. Now I'm going to have to be careful here. If I put on too much water, they're going to slide, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to very carefully just push them into place. Tiny bit of water. Don't you move. If they fall off, they fall off. We'll put them back on again. And then what we'll do, yeah, see that one's falling. Push them in a bit further. Okay, and we'll come down here and then we'll go back up again. Like that. Because we don't want it to be just a straight line of beads, do we? That's boring. We want them to be moving. So we'll come across here a little bit. Okay. And across there. So just keep them moving. Don't have them all in straight lines. So mine are sort of in, out like that. Okay, just be careful when you lay this out that you keep them moving around. I think I'm going to be about 3 short, which is pretty good going, I think. Okay. And there. That looks okay, doesn't it? There we go. Let's have a little look. I'll make it a tiny bit longer on the side. I mean, in true 80s fashion, really, it should have another clashing necklace, shouldn't it? Because, you know, that's what it's all about, the 80s, isn't it? Everything's got a clash. But I think we'll take it as red at that. There we go. Okay, now we've got one more thing to make and then a topper to put on, and we're done. So we're going to be done in the next 15 minutes, which is great. That is perfect. So we're going to put some musical notes on here now, so we'll make those next. And what we'll do is we'll take some black and we're just going to roll it out. I'm going to keep this side camera on for the moment because everything I'm going to be cutting is going to be going straight onto the cake. So we'll just go straight from there. And we will just take hold of, just thinking how big that's going to come out. That's fine. So what I'm going to do here is a little top tip for you for doing musical notes. Musical notes don't tend to be round, they tend to be just pulled a little bit. So I'm just going to take this little round cutter here. And I'm just going to literally just pull it a tiny bit, not a lot, just a little bit. And then what we'll do, I don't actually like that size, hold on. Let me just check my other container full of cutters. I've got containers everywhere, containing every cutter you can imagine, except the one I actually need when I'm live. Oh, that'll do. Let's just run with it. We'll run with that. It was just quite big, but actually I think that'll be okay. Right. The one I want's the middle one. Typical. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. That's all right. I'm making a fuss. Not that I'm fussy at all, so I'm just going to put a little bit of water on the back of these. And then I'm just going to put one on like that. This will all make sense in a minute. It's all going to look a bit weird at the moment. So let's put a few of these out. And then we'll just pull them very slightly. A little bit of water or glue or something on the back. So we'll just put a few of these on in some of the gaps. And I'll put one there. Oh, pulled that one too far. It's got a bit mad. I'm not going to go all the way around. We'll just do the ones at the front because that's the ones you'll be looking at. We're nearly there, everybody. Honestly, I can't believe I've done this from scratch. What was I thinking? Right. Put one there. Or you could use the musical notes. Absolutely. Yes, I've got a lovely mould for that. Musical notes. Who's that? That's going to be my PA, isn't it, Nikki? I'll put another one there. And then what I'll do, let me just run over to the other side of the room and get my pen. Hold on. Oh, these beads around my neck. Okay, so what we can do here then, we've got this edible pen here and it's got a thick end and a thin end. So now the sugar paste is still going to be quite soft, so you do need to be a bit careful with this. We'll do one round the back first and see how we go. And we're just going to make these into musical notes. like that. There you go. And then we'll do another one here. Am I still on camera? Probably not. We'll move that back a bit. And then we'll bring that one down like so. So I'm using the thicker end of that to get the musical notes on there. There we go. Put my arm in there. You could paint these on as well if you want to. It's just I haven't got my cocoa butter set up at the moment, so I've just decided to use the pen instead. If I was given a choice, I'd probably paint them, or pipe them. You could pipe them as well. You could easily pipe them. A little bit of black royal icing. But this is quite quick, so I'm quite happy to do it like this. Like so. How are we doing? See, that looks okay, doesn't it? And have I done them all? Yes, I have. Okay, nearly there. Right, what else was I going to do with it? Oh, I know, I was going to put the topper on. I've got one hell of a topper for this. Right, let's get the royal icing out. So, we're going to put the topper on. You're not going to be able to see it. Actually, if I bring it forward like that, then you'll be able to see it. So, let's get my icing ready. Let's get the topper, which obviously is something classic of the 80s and huge. And I'm going to have to leave this sat here so it sets, because otherwise it's going to fall off. You know what's coming. Well, you might not. Let me see. I don't want to put too much icing on there and then find I can see it, because that would annoy me as well. And we're going to put a nice big disco ball on the top, like so. Now, once you've stuck something down like that with royal icing, if you take a paintbrush, you can just then go underneath it and tidy it up so that you don't have to see the icing, but you've got the maximum amount of icing on there that you can get. Now, you can't see this at the moment, so I will turn it. I'll lift my camera up in a second so you can see it. But I need to make sure there's a sizable blob on there so it's not going to fall off. There we go. Right, okay. I'm going to switch cameras a second. Right, I'm just going to move this camera back a minute so I can see what's going on, or rather you can see what's going on, because it's very tall. Right, we're getting there. Let me show you what I've done. I'm just moving this all out of the way so you don't have a cake full of rubbish at the back. Right, can you see it reasonably? Yes, you can. Okay, are we ready? We've got to have a disco ball, otherwise what's the point? There we go. All right, that is my 80s cake. Da, 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 da. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? I mean, you can carry on with this. I mean, you know, you can put more images on the back if you want to. I haven't put any more on the back. The disco ball is from eBay. I haven't done anything else particularly flash with it. But hopefully there's been a few little skills in there that you've picked up over the morning. It is a fun cake. I hope Jenny's not watching. Don't think she will. I think she'll be working. But there you go. And then you've got a really good opportunity to see how the neon colours are working. So you can see how you can move those colours around to get a really lovely design, and think about it. So when you do your colours, for example, you've got yellow here, yellow here, yellow here. You've got green here and green on the Rubik's Cube. You've got blue, blue, blue. You've got to keep your colours moving, otherwise it doesn't make sense. So that's the most important thing that you need to do when it comes to doing a cake like that. But it's fun, isn't it? I'm quite pleased with that. I think I'm going to have to leave it here to dry now. I'm going to put a ribbon on it later once it's all settled down, but I'm going to leave it here now to set, and I will take a photo and I will put it on. Yeah, I'm going to put my ribbon on, but this is the bit where I confess I took the Pritt stick home. Fatal mistake. cake. So I won't be putting a ribbon on until later. We'll let it dry. And then you can see it. So there we go. So I managed to get this all done before Carol gets on at 2 o'clock. So I'm really pleased it's all done. I will take a photo. I will put it on Sugar and Crumbs so you can see it. And then you get a much better view of it than what you've got at the moment. I'm definitely not picking it up. Yes, you can steam the cake with the photos, but you mustn't touch them. You've got to be very careful. All right, so if you've got a cake steamer and you want to go over it as well, you can do that, but you must be careful not to get water on these pictures because otherwise they will disintegrate, and that's not a good idea. So there you go. Right, okay, I'm done. Here I am, covered in blue and everything else under the sun. Those of you that didn't see me 2 hours ago, I am here today with my George Michael t-shirt on and my lovely 80s necklace. So I've gone the full hog. I've even done it in 80s gear today as well. So thank you very much for joining me for this rather long extended 2.5 hour cake making session, but we've done it. That's a 2-tier 80s cake done and in the bag. I will put it up onto YouTube, so if you do want to watch it at a later date, and also it'll be on Carol's site as well, so you will be able to go back onto Sugar and Crumbs and watch it. I need to go and have a lie down. In fact, I'm going to go and have lunch with Kelly now, and I will be back on Sugar and Crumbs at when am I back? Tuesday, 6:30. I will be back. So I'm glad I started at 11. I tell you, because I don't think I'd have finished. I look like I've been in a bush. Right, I'll put my website up quickly. There you go. So if you want any more information about cakes, classes, all of those bits and pieces, there is my website, tracyscakes.co.uk. I am absolutely starving and I am going to disappear now very quickly and go and have some lunch. But thank you very much for everybody who managed to make it all the way through. That was really good. Thank you so much because, yeah. You have to work at speed when you do these lives and it can be a little bit terrifying at times. You have to keep going. Anyway, it's done. So thank you very much. And I will see you all on Sugar Crumbs at 6:30 on Tuesday. Take care. See you soon. Bye.